Welcome to Raglith Gallery. Here we interview Karlin Rushbrooke, one of two artists featured in our exhibition Figures and Faces, which is on from 4th of September to 13th of October. Karlin talks about how he started back in the early 70s.
I built a studio. My first studio was in this garage in Sussex. So we were there I was there for 4 years, doing the house up and blowing glass at the same time. Yeah. So that's my studio was then, I think, probably one of the very first studio glass studios in the country.
So you don't just work in glass, though, as well as the building, obviously, but we want to talk about what's coming into our exhibition. You start work in metal as well.
Yeah.
So when did that start?
Well, that started actually at Stourbridge College of Art, because it was a three-pronged course. It was, ceramics, glass, and fine art. I did quite a lot of welding there. I made some completely horrible, enormous sculptural things there. So I got into it there. In fact, when I left the college, I thought, well, I really want to be a sculptor, but I'll just do glass. Glass will make me a bit of a living, and now I can do sculpture as well.
Yeah.
So I started getting into metalwork when I was then at that stage.
And what about the style? There's a recognisable Karlin Rushbrooke style for both the glass and the metal. Where does that come from?
Yeah, well, they're basically all the kind of sculptures are all figure based, aren't they? I mean, like I do make glass sculptures as well, or I have done, which are entirely glass, and they're sort of abstract glass constructions. These are figure based, but on human beings, obviously. So, and where did that all come from? It's quite interesting because, again, actually, when I was at Stourbridge College of Art, in those days, there's so much money around in those days. There was a really good complementary studies course, it was called, and where you did English literature and history and other stuff like that. And this guy was really turned me on to Samuel Beckett.
All right.
And I'd already got into the theatre of the absurd, the whole surreal thing. So I loved all of that, and it was all mostly based around, aspects of the human being. So that's really where all this comes from.
So it's theatre rather than and a writer that's influenced you rather than another visual artist.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it is. But I mean, it is. Yeah.
So I mean, looking at the metal heads that you've done, I know not in the exhibition, but you've done one recently of Emma Rice.
I did.
Yeah. Are these others of individual people, or are
no, they're not. They're basically they're just portraits of anybody, really.
What's interesting about them is what you leave out.
That's exactly
it. Is in the bits that aren't there.
Exactly.
Which I think is really interesting.
And the brain fills it in instantly.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Always doing faces, and on these early sandblasted pieces I did, mostly feature heads and profiles. Like the one in the in London, the V&A. It's a series of heads round a bowl.
Right.
So it's something that's been in. It's just in me all the time. So I suddenly thought, well, maybe I'll do some steel. And I just drew something up, and it worked. I thought, wow. And so I carried on, and I'm really, really enjoying it.
I think they're really lovely because they've got real character.
Yeah.
It's kind of like magic that they're conjured out of nothing. It's almost like a line you've got, and then the face is there.
Yeah, I really enjoy it. I do them sitting down most of the time. I can actually sit and weld them, and
right.
That's good.
Yeah, the boats. They've all got intriguing titles. Like what's this one called? Do you actually know where you're going? Does the title come after you've made it, or before you've made it, or
it tends to come afterwards? Because they're all about. This all kind of the whole idea of this started on the idea of the ship of fools,
right?
Which is a comment on the human condition.
Yeah.
So basically, these are rather wry, droll comments on the human condition.
Yeah.
That's what they all tend to be, and there's sort of so there's a surreal element which I really like, and quite often there's a conflicting element. Occasionally, there's people who get on with each other, but that's what it's all about.
Yes, because a lot of them have got two faces.
Yeah.
Facing each other or facing away from each other, and they do seem a bit confrontational. Yeah. But they're lovely pieces. I mean, they make you smile.
They do make people smile. Yeah. They're very, there's loads of work in them all because especially, you've got all the glass has to be sandblasted. It has to be carved.
Yes.
You know, has acid polished in hydrofluoric acid, which is lethal. And then, but I do enjoy making them, and you know, but there we are. Yeah. I don't sell many, you know, I have to say, but you know who knows?
Well, let's hope we sell some in
nice.
this exhibition.
Be nice for both of us.
It would be, yeah.
Well, it's very generous of you to give me this sort of space, you know.
Well, we love your work, and I think it'll go well with the 2D artist that you got, Graham Maiden. He's an old friend of Sue's, so. But his figures are also sort of a very individual style.
Yeah, I like the picture that it's on the poster. Yeah.
So, Karlin, thank you very much indeed, and we look forward to having them in the gallery.
Good, all right then. Well, nice.